Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 2 of Memory Card, a video game podcast. I'm your co host, as always, Cody Collects. Welcome on in. I'm here with my co host, Lorenzo. Lorenzo Talks. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, pretty good. Got a big
Dude.
episode coming up.
Oh, yeah. Listen, guys. Since the last one, video game news never stops. So, of course, we got a ton of video game news for you guys. But then also, I asked Lorenzo if he could put together a list of his top 5 favorite games. So, we'll also get into that. But before we get into any video game news, Lorenzo, I know you made a video on the Superman movie, and I've heard your thoughts very briefly on Fantastic Four. So I just want you just general thoughts, maybe give some people a preview before they watch their Superman video that I'm linking right here and down in the description. How'd you like these
Oh,
movies, dude?
dude, I love. I'll make it quick because I mean, if people are here to listen about video games, so I won't harp on comic book stuff for too long, even if it's your comic book channel. But I loved Superman. I fucking loved that movie, dude. I walked away from that movie with I felt alive, dude.
Yes,
I
dude.
I loved everything about it. I made a review about it. I couldn't find honestly a single thing about the movie that I didn't like. It
Ooh.
was it was hard for me to even be critical because I know some of the complaints that people have had where they feel like the movie might be a little overstuffed or a little rushed. I felt like not enough development was given to certain characters. Some people weren't a big fan of the some backstory changes with Jor-El and Superman's origin.
Right,
But
the message,
honestly,
yep.
none of that bothered me. I loved everything about that movie. I was just I was grinning from ear to ear, man. I love the actors. I love the
Yep.
action. I didn't think James Gunn had it in him.
He's got
I
that
thought it was just
dog in him.
because I knew he was gonna make a good movie, right? Like so far, he's never really made a bad one. But
Mm,
I just Superman is such a different character from the Guardians of the Galaxy and the
it's
Suicide
true.
Squad. Like totally different tone, totally different vibe. Like you have to really approach that differently. And I thought it was gonna feel too much like those previous movies, but I was wrong. That was a Superman movie, like through and through, like Silver Age Superman, like so weird and wacky
Yeah.
and just fully embracing being a comic book movie. I'm like,
Right?
oh,
Not ashamed of it.
I want to. Yeah, I know. I just I think of every other day. I'm like, God, I just kind of want to go back to the theater, just by myself and just go watch it again. I'll drag my wife to it if she wants to see it again. But I just want to go see it again because I just loved it that much. It was incredible.
Dude, so I love that, right? And I definitely got your love and appreciation for the movie through your video. But when we're talking about Fantastic Four, do you have that same kind of drive to even make a video on it, or is it kind of like difference in quality and passion or whatever?
I won't make a video on it. I liked
Gotcha.
Fantastic Four. And I don't have any major complaints with it. No major issues. Just a bunch of little issues that kind of were compiling. I watched your Color Break podcast with
Oh yeah.
Christian, and yeah, it seems like you and I are probably on about the same place of it. Where yeah, I liked it, but I got some beef with it.
Yeah.
Some things that just didn't work for me. Some things that I thought were a little lame. Um, my biggest issue, I did like it overall, and I liked it more than Thunderbolts. I like Thunderbolts too, but I like Fantastic Four a little bit more. It just had a little bit more of a charm to it, like more creative energy behind it. Even if I think Thunderbolts is maybe objectively the better movie, I personally Fantastic Four was more to my style. Um, but yeah, my biggest beef with Fantastic Four, just to go into it quick, was just I wish they just spent. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say this, and I definitely echo the same sentiment in that it definitely feels like there's at least 20 minutes of the movie that just isn't there, like
Yeah.
chunks of the movie that were cut out. I mean, you can feel that even when you're watching the credits, and it's like, wow, this is really fun B-roll in this credits that feels like they filmed it for the
Mm.
movie and they just didn't use it, so they had to kind of throw it in at the end. um and then I wanted more time dedicated to Galactus. I felt like there was so much more to explore with his character and motivation specifically, that I'm like,
Right.
it just felt like, oh, we could spend a lot more time with this. Like there's definitely way more to this story here that is just they're not going into, whether I guess for pacing or time reasons. But um other than that, yeah, I liked it, and I recommended it. But comparatively, man, after I watched Superman,
Comparatively.
I was like, wow, Superman's a tough act to follow because it blew me away.
Yes, dude. Yes, dude. Well, listen, check out Lorenzo's video on Superman for more of his thoughts. Some of the best video analysis on YouTube. I'm just gonna say it, dude. But I think it's time to get into some video game news. First one we got up, guys. Okay, listen, guys. Nintendo put this out. I don't know if you guys have seen. They got like this app, right, where every single like day they put out something, right? The other day, I think it was on like the 25th, so a couple days from when we're recording this, they put out that Mario and Peach are just friends. I guess they didn't say the word just. A lot of people are putting that in there, right? But they were like, Mario and Peach are friends. What do you think about this, Lorenzo? I mean, does this blow up your whole world like it does some people on the internet?
Uh, Nintendo. I mean, a lot of video game companies and developers, they don't like acknowledging romance like ever.
Right.
Every name like your top three video game romances that aren't from like an RPG where you initiate it. You probably can't because there's not that many for some
Right.
reason. Like, I guess my top choice would be I can't even think of one off the top of my head. You know, like there's so few of them. So it's not surprising to me that yeah, Nintendo and also like Nintendo doesn't like to talk about like they don't like to talk about like Mario as a person. Mario is
Right.
he's Mickey Mouse, you
He's a
know,
vessel, yeah.
he's a mascot at this point.
Mm.
He's a figure, a symbol. Like are Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse dating? I don't know. Maybe. But I don't know if you'll ever hear Disney officially acknowledge it. He needs to be like he needs to almost retain this like untouchable status, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that they came out and said that. What surprises me are people being surprised that Nintendo said that because they don't like they don't like confirming anything. You know how long like the day like hell's gonna freeze over before they acknowledge any kind of like romantic connection between like Link and Zelda,
I was just gonna ask,
even
as
though it's
someone who's not into like Zelda games, typically, how do they handle it? And it sounds like they handle it kind of the same, where they just
it's
keep it
kind of the
kind of
same except
vague. And,
it is like it's basically confirmed, like it is still implied, like they don't look at you in the face and say hey they're dating, but like there are Zelda games where it's like no, they acknowledge like yeah there's a romantic connection there and like it is acknowledged in the games but like never explicitly and never directly, so they do confirm that. But if you were to ask Nintendo hey do Link and Zelda and a romantic relationship, their answer would probably be like I don't know. They're in a strong relationship. That's all we have to say on that. That's
like
all
they're
you're gonna
strong
get.
friends, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what it comes down to for me was like, did I Mandela myself into thinking they were like getting married? Like, isn't there some key art of like Mario with like a white suit or something? I thought they got married. I thought that was like a
You
whole
might
big thing, but
you
I
might
guess
be
I
thinking of
Mandela'd
the
myself.
you might be thinking of the ending of Mario Odyssey where Bowser takes Peach to a chapel to try and marry her. Like the whole premise of Mario Odyssey is
Right?
Bowser wants to marry Peach. And then in that game, one of the costumes you can get, I don't remember if that's costume. No, I don't think it's mandatory by the end of the game. But one of the costumes you can get is like a white tuxedo for Mario. So
Okay.
yeah,
I guess I just
maybe
Mandela'd
you've
myself.
definitely, I'm sure, seen some imagery of that, of like marriage in official Mario games. But yeah, no,
Right?
I mean, I don't,
She's
you know,
always kissing, you know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't
she
know,
gives him
dude.
a
It's a whole
kiss on the
thing.
cheek. So I think in like Mario Brothers. No, I'm thinking of something from the ending of Zelda 2. But again, implicit. But yeah, yeah, no, I mean, who cares? It's Mario. Who cares? That's what I said in the last episode. Story doesn't matter. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, dude. I know. Like in doing research for this, in doing a little bit of prep for this, looking at the subreddit, people are going nuts, dude. People are so
how, are,
mad about it. They're
how are
like,
people
they're
surprised?
getting
It's
mad about like the
Nintendo. This
lore,
isn't.
and they're like, oh, it doesn't make any sense anyways. There's like baby Mario next to them, and people are like, yeah, but what about partners in time? It's like it does. It's not
Don't look
that
into it. Don't look
strict,
into
and
it.
like it's not like that, guys. You know what I mean? Like just relax a little bit. It
If
really
if
reminds
you
me of
want, you know
comic
what?
book continuity people. But
I
yeah,
know a franchise that has I think actual romance, like a modern Nintendo franchise, is Xenoblade.
okay,
So if you want like actual borderline confirmed romance, go to those games, right? You're not finding it in Mario, or you're
never
kind of
Mario.
finding it in Zelda. I do like it whenever they touch on it.
Right.
and I think they do it tastefully, where it's like, yeah, they're not gonna have them like fucking
Like
holding hands
full
and
on. Yeah.
kissing. It's a very, it's like Pride. You know, it's funny. I just watched Pride and Prejudice the other day with my wife. Great
Okay.
movie. Uh, and the romance in that movie is very obviously there and confirmed, but it's never like in your face. It's very nice and almost subtle.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, hey, listen, guys. Mario, if you can't have Peach, I heard Pauline's available, dude. So yeah. Listen, Battlefield 6 is coming out, Lorenzo. That's our next topic, dude. Before we get into it, what is like your history with Battlefield? Because I was always a pretty big fan. So I'm just curious your history with Battlefield.
I think my history with Battlefield starts very similarly to a lot of other people's, with Battlefield 1943, or was it 1942? Well, they had, I think, 1942 and 43,
Damn, so you go way
which was,
back.
yeah, that came out, I think, in like 2008 or like something like that, where it was like
Yeah.
2007. And then they had Bad Company 2, which is
Bad Company
still
2.
the just the peak, in my opinion. It's Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. And 3 is
Battlefield
like,
3.
I still swear up and down by 3.
Think about that all the time.
I've loved it ever since. I stopped playing after Battlefield. I didn't love Battlefield 1, right, as much as everyone else did. I just kind
Okay.
of, it
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
grab me as much, but I love the setting, right? I love the vibe and I love everything about it. It just, I don't know. I think around that time, Battlefield to
Gotcha.
me was losing its sauce when it came to like an addictive multiplayer experience. And it feels like ever since then they've been kind of struggling to find that again. So I'm very curious to see what they do for 6, because I have a lot of opinions on Battlefield, and it to me it's a series that's very easy to get wrong, and it's very hard to get just right. Like a lot of things they have to do to get right.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I would say, too, I would add on Battlefield fans are like really kind of picky. It in like a a lot of ways, positive ways. Like in the last entry, they had no classes or whatever, and that's like one of those things that's like so fundamental to like they had it. It was like characters, right? Like operators, something like that initially.
They were trying to like chase the hype of like almost like hero shooters like Apex and stuff at the time.
Yeah, and it's like so weird. Like decisions like that, it's like I don't know. Like the DNA of Battlefield should always kind of stay the same, and then you kind of just mess with the surrounding bits of it. And yeah, it is kind of weird how they're putting all their eggs in this one though, right? They have how many teams working on it? They're changing the team names to be the Battlefield Studio or something, right? So this is like EA's last hurrah. I don't know. Like, is this the last kind of chance for Battlefield? I guess I'm kind of wondering.
I doubt it, but this is, I would think this is the last chance for Battlefield as we currently know it. If this somehow flops, I think they're just going to resort to full
Mobile
on
game.
free to play live
Yeah.
service. Just double down on that cash cow because it's working well with Warzone. And I mean, I think Battlefield is mostly distinct enough that they could get away with it. Um, but yeah, I saw the trailer for Battlefield 6. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean the trailer is it's kind of interesting because to me it was kind of like a almost like a cinematic, like a story trailer, right? Like I don't know if they're if that's kind of a big push. I would assume they have so many teams working on it and they put so much money into it. I assume it has some kind of single player component. I guess I haven't read up on it if they've announced that or not. But the trailer kind of read to me like very single player focused, um, which I don't know. I've never been in a Battlefield for the single player. I guess to me it was just like a we're kind of back sort of thing was kind of the vibe they were going for. Like it's the modern combat. It should feel very familiar to anyone who likes Battlefield 3, like you're saying, Battlefield 4, kind of that area. But yeah, from the trailer, I didn't really get a lot too much out of it. I don't know. What'd you think of the trailer just in general?
It just looked like very, I don't know, kind of nothing.
Right. It's just guns and a tank and
Yeah, they're
jet.
obviously going. They're kind of pushing for like, okay, ignore how silly and crazy 2042 was. We're doubling down on seriousness. We're making this a modern game, and it's like, all right, cool, that's good in addressing some issues with 2042. Those weren't the main issues. Like
Right. Yeah.
2042 really just came down to having a lackluster multiplayer, and like that's what Battlefield is known for, is the multiplayer. Like even I think like Call of Duty always had that balance of game modes, but Battlefield I feel like was always like just the multiplayer. Like if you don't get that right, you might as well just toss it.
Yeah, like what is there to play almost, right? And it's kind of
Yeah.
that interesting thing. I guess for me, there was one point in the trailer where they showed, I don't know, like 200 people or something like that. I don't know if that was like their way of kind of implying that this game would have multiplayer. Like, well, I'm trying to think of what 2042 was. Was it like 124 or something like that?
100, there was, yeah, 64 on each side, 128 for total.
Okay, so I don't know if that was kind of their way in the trailer of teasing, like, hey, maybe there's even more players, and like that's something that they want to do, like 128 players on a
I
team or
I
something like
think they've
that.
already confirmed this goes to my biggest issue with modern Battlefield and what 2042 failed at. My biggest issue is, dude, more players is not a good thing in
Yeah,
with
I think
Battlefield.
they
Like you,
found the balance like 12 years ago of like
yeah,
this many players
64 on
versus
64 I think is kind of pretty good. And also, as someone who used to play Battlefield a lot, I gotta say I always liked Rush more than Conquest, and Rush always had less players anyways. I always thought
yeah.
Rush was like the more interesting mode. Um, but yeah, the 2042 ran into the issue. It was like, okay, well, when you add more players, you got to make more like bigger maps, right, to account for that. So then they did. But the problem is then like it doesn't work that way. Where like unfortunately, you just most of most of the Battlefield games, and honestly, this even applies for like the games that was 32 on 32, 64 total. Um, yeah, it just feels empty. Like you're just wandering around maps and you're either defending a point for the longest time with nobody going to do anything about it, or then you go to a point that's heavily defended and then you die instantly. And it's like, ah,
Run
great.
all the way
So you,
back.
yeah, there's a lot of like, I think Battlefield really struggles with like, when it gets too big, it struggles with like that moment to moment action that you expect from like Call of Duty, that always gets it right. So I hope they keep the maps just relatively small. Like I think Battlefield 3 had the perfect balance. I thought Battlefield 3's maps and player count was like, no, this they figured the balance out here. Smaller maps are a good thing. Keeping players focused are a good thing. I honestly think you don't even need that many like conquest maps because like I don't know. I could go on. I could go on. Right? It's a tough balance to get, and hopefully they don't bite off more they can chew, and they just really need to focus on like map design and making it that it's interesting and fun to traverse, and not so big and so overwhelming that it just becomes like just a complete mess.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely an interesting thing to see, especially coming out of 2042. Well, I played that when it was initially out, and I wasn't hating it, but definitely fell off after 2 weeks or something like that, right? Like it's been a while since a Battlefield has been able to capture my attention, like back in the golden days,
Yeah.
for sure. So we'll have to see what EA's got cooking. I don't know. Did you got any more final thoughts on this Battlefield stuff?
No pre-orders. Don't
No
pre-order.
pre-orders.
Wait, you hopefully nobody ever learns their lesson, right? But I should remind anybody who's watching this, remember what happened with 2042, because not only was that game not that great, it just barely worked at launch as well. So and Battlefield has had a really bad history with like almost never working at launch. So just
Yeah.
take it easy. Just wait a few days. It's not going any. Everyone buys digitally anyways. You're not going to run out of stock. You just
How much is
cool it
it
for a
gonna
bit.
pre-ordering for anyway? They're like, how much is it gonna? Is it 70, 80? Like
I
EA?
I mean, they might just test the water. I bet it'll be like probably 70 for the most base boring edition, but it'll
Right.
probably be like 80 or 90 for the edition that gets you the game 1 week early. I mean, every
That's right.
multiplayer game
Yep.
has been doing that.
Right. Right. True. True. Well, listen, guys, we'll keep an eyes on Battlefield. We'll see what EA's got cooking. I don't know if I guess the multiplayer reveals in a couple weeks, so maybe we'll check back in on Battlefield. I don't know. Next up, though, dude. Um, next up, I know that you did a video on Xbox, dude. So I want to get into it. Just all the different like strategies between the big three, being Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, obviously. And I guess we can start with the Xbox. And for people that don't know, I guess could you briefly? I should check out the video. Maybe the video is linked and it's also down in the description. But very briefly, what the hell happened, dude, a couple weeks ago over at Microsoft?
So Microsoft did what they do best, which is fire hundreds, if not thousands, of employees. Actually, it was thousands. I think. I think like over
9,000,
the
I think, was the
whole
total.
Microsoft company. Yeah, it was like 9,000 employees laid off. We don't know how many were at Xbox. I don't think they said definitively, but a good
True,
chunk.
gotcha. Right.
Um, so yeah, Xbox they fired a bunch of employees, laid them off. People who I very well likely never even saw a game ship to completion. They canceled Perfect Dark and Everwild, which were like two projects that they had been talking about and hyping up for a while. I mean, within the last year,
Quadruple A.
within the last year, Perfect Dark went kind of quiet. Everwild, we really haven't heard much about in the last like 3 years. So
Not
it's
really,
not.
except for like, and this is like a big thing that kind of pissed me off more than the other parts. Phil Spencer, like 2 months ago, before firing all these people and canceling Everwild, he like came out and said like, "Oh, dude, Everwild's sick. I cannot stop playing
Uh,
Everwild. That game's turning out really well." It's like,
Phil, oh Phil, you and your sweet little lies.
fuck
And then
you,
also
man.
ZeniMax, who have been
Right.
primarily, I think, working on Elder Scrolls Online. They had an unannounced RPG, and there was reported. I don't know if this is confirmed, but it was reported that Phil Spencer loved this RPG so much that he couldn't stop playing it. Like he was in love with it, and he was constantly. I think he was playing it like, I think reportedly like a week before it got canceled by Xbox, like before they just shut it down. It's like, wow, what? He almost sounds like a freeloader. He's
The
just taking
salesman,
advantage of like
yeah.
free like game demos. It's oh man, yeah. Xbox, they if with them, it's always like one step forward and then three steps backwards, and this was another three steps backwards.
Yeah, dude, 100%. So they did their they announced like their new partnership with like Asus, right? Got the new handheld coming, the Xbox OS, their big everything is an Xbox kind of push, and then they get hit in the face with this layoff news. And it's like it's adding insult to injury, right? The fact that Microsoft is posting record profits, breaking all the revenue goals. They're killing it, dude. It's awesome stuff over there. And then to see 9,000, because that's the other thing too, right? 9,000, that's a huge number. That'd be a huge number anywhere for any company. I think for Microsoft, it ended up being something, I could be wrong, like something 12%, 11% or something like that of their workforce, maybe? Or was that a different layoff or something like
This is
that?
I
But
oh, dude. I think this is a different layoff maybe from months ago. I don't because this is the fourth round of mass
yeah,
layoffs in 18 months. That's
in 18 months.
crazy.
When you
How
said that
more?
in your thing, yeah, I was like, that's unbelievable. Because it's 9,000 people, right? But then it's 9,000 like potential families. I mean, you're talking kids, you're
Oh
talking
yeah,
like
that's not
it's
even
just
counting all the other people that it affects. Like that's easy. That could reach like 20,000. That's
yeah,
it's absolute. It's just and it's just like, oh, man, like what is Xbox doing? Like just when you think that maybe they're kind of almost about to finally start figuring something out, they're releasing decent games. And then, but also like just recently, they're basically giving up on exclusives. They're starting to port all of them to PlayStation. Like Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation.
right,
I think Gears of War Remastered's coming soon. I think there's rumors that the Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to PlayStation soon.
right.
Like it's like, what is Xbox at this point? It's Game Pass. That's all it is. And my video, and I mentioned this to their credit, people love Game Pass. Like everybody I know who has Game Pass is like, dude, I love it. Like I love like Game Pass. I get my money's worth completely. And like to that end, that's great that they have something going for them, right? But that's just not enough because it's like, I mean, I guess for Microsoft they don't care. Like if you just
Yeah,
have at this point they're just like Netflix. Like we're bowing out of the race of like permanently owning your games, right? Like it's gone are the days of Blu-ray. It's the age of streaming now, and Microsoft is doubling down on that. It's like, yeah, we're basically transitioning from the age of hardware to just pure streaming. That's it. And if that's what works for them, people like it, and I got no problem with that. But dude, just make games and stop
yeah,
canceling them. That's all. That's Nintendo's been doing that for the last 7 years. It's nothing
dude.
but making games, like great game year after year. And like the Switch 2 is the fastest selling console of like all time. I think like it sold 3-4 million units in like a week. That is
Yeah,
that is insane. that they can do that with also a console that a lot of people would say was overpriced, but still doesn't matter. They have earned that trust, and whether you think the console is a fair price or not, what they're doing is working. It is working well, and
Yeah.
Microsoft needs to. They don't need to take a page from their book. They got to steal the book.
Still the entire playbook, dude. Yeah, because you brought it. I mean, you framed it perfectly. What is Xbox now, right? If everything's an Xbox, what the hell's an Xbox, dude? Like, and to their credit, like the tech is actually pretty impressive. Like, I don't know if you guys have out there have actually like tried streaming something. It actually works kind of well. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty sick. But yeah, they kind of just throw in the towel on just hardware in general, and it kind of seems like they're like eventually they might come out with a new hardware, a new Xbox console, right? But it's not really the same anymore. I mean, when you're licensing out and you're partnering up with other hardware companies, like you're not even doing it yourself anymore. It's I don't know. So yeah, I actually brought a Game Pass. I actually just canceled my Game Pass today because I found myself I haven't used it in a couple months now,
Yeah.
and I kind of had this realization. It's like when Outer Wilds 2, I think that's the next Xbox game that I'm excited about. I'm just gonna buy it. I'm I'm just gonna buy. Like if I want a game, I might just buy it now, dude. Because yeah, just for the last like 3 months, it's like we're waiting for those Xbox games to come out. It's like they're primed and ready to go. You have some, here and there. They spackle them here and there, but we're waiting for like that next kind of all those next dominoes to fall. And yeah, just I don't know if I can wait anymore. I think when the time comes, if I want to play an Xbox game, I'm just gonna buy it. Or hell, even just get it on my PS5 at this point, right? Because if they're releasing everything multi-plat, I don't know.
That's
They
it's
get some
not
money either way. You buy it on PlayStation, Xbox gets a cut, but I don't know, dude.
it's not that just they're making crazy decisions like this where it's like, dude, all you guys have to do, despite what Phil Spencer says, I don't believe him when he says that it's not as easy as just making great games. I think it really is that easy. Just make great games, advertise them, and that's it. And like, dude,
Don't
release them on
make
Game
them
Pass.
for. Don't take 8 years to make them, and
Yeah,
you know what I
like,
mean. It's like
man, Greg Mayles was director of Everwild. That guy directed Banjo Kazooie and
oh
Donkey
my
Kong
god,
Country. This
dude.
man is responsible for some of the greatest platformers ever made. Like you support his vision. Like this guy has earned it. He's paid. Oh, it's unbelievable his resume, and he's worked on like almost so many of Rare's games, like all the way back to the mid '90s. Like he's been in the business
I don't know
longer
how
than
you let
like
someone like
any
that
of us have been
go. It's crazy.
alive.
It's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, when you mentioned Outer Wilds too. I mean, like not only is Xbox doing things like that, but like they're doing other things that almost show like a lack of like confidence. Like
Yeah,
Outer Wilds 2 just reversed their price. It was retailing at $80, and like just last week they announced, no, we're pushing that back to 70. And it's like, what what happened?
right.
I
Like
think everybody knows
whole
what
thing
happened.
was this game was bigger in scale than Outer Worlds one. It justified the $80 price tag
they
according to them, and
they
now they're kind of
tried
backing out of it.
doing what Nintendo did, but I think that what happened is the pre-orders just didn't come through, and they're like, wow, if we want people to buy this, we need to double back, because otherwise the only people who are going to play this is through Game Pass. And we've heard several reports from several different developers that Game Pass, like for as great as it is, for some developers just isn't sustainable. Like it just
Yeah,
doesn't work for them. So who knows if even Game Pass, the one thing they got going for them, is going to stick. Like at this point, who knows?
and then so you brought up Nintendo and kind of how their strategies differ, and yeah, Nintendo, it's like just make good games. Like the Nintendo must be looking around the industry and it's like you guys are having problems. Like just make a game where every time you press the button, it lights up the in your head and it makes you feel good. Like
They're
it's gonna
doing
be
it
that.
with hardware that is like
Yeah,
5-6 years outdated. You know, like the really at this point, the only thing the Switch has is that it's a portable hybrid, which is great. But like,
right.
if your difference is like, oh, well, we offer a comparable console that's much stronger, and it just isn't a hybrid, I think that's good enough for a lot of people. And then just release great games on it. And it's like, man, you guys are missing the point. Just make good games and invest in your old franchises too. Like, dude,
Right.
we should be having like a great major Halo coming out every 4 or 5 years, like on the
So
dot.
bizarre. It's so bizarre that like you guys are greedy. Like even from a greedy perspective, you think they'd be doing that. It's so bizarre to me that they're not like leveraging Like, when's the last time a Gears game came out? It's been like a long time since Gears came out. I thought that was like
We're getting E-Day, but even that, I don't
E-Day.
think it has even like a release year yet. They just keep showing teasers and trailers for it, and it's like, dude, like that's what
Yeah,
you got. You guys got franchises you're sitting on. People are asking for them, and
very weird.
like,
Yeah,
and also not only that, you've bought however many other franchises now. It's
sitting
like,
on a mountain of IP right there,
oh
dude. Like,
man, a mountain of IP and money. The only thing you don't have is developers because you keep firing all of them.
it's so true, dude. And listen, it's not like PlayStation is getting off scot free. All right, so
No.
PlayStation's having their own kind of set of woes, namely their kind of failed push for live service games. And I think it was maybe it predates the current Herman Holst is like the big dude over at Sony right now, PlayStation. And I think that before him it was can't remember. I don't know if the push for live service predates Herman Holst, I guess is what I was trying to say, but
it's
just the fact that it's like
it seems like the push started with Jim Ryan.
Jim
That's
Ryan, that's yeah.
yeah. Herman Holst, I think, has been there mostly as like a chief architect of the console stuff. It seems like Jim Ryan, like and Jim Ryan has done some great things for PlayStation as far as I can remember. But yeah, the push for live service is like that just desperate attempt to try and cash in on just it's dude. It all starts with Fortnite. Everyone saw
Yeah.
what Fortnite did, and we're
Oh
like,
man.
wow, like that is the gold standard right there. We have to reach that.
And like here's the thing, right? When you try to do upwards of 8 live service games, like all like cooking, ready to go over at PlayStation, like pretty much one from every team, and you're just sitting on them. In what world would a PlayStation gamer, someone like your biggest fan, in potentially right? He's only got so much time in the day, dude. It makes like literally no sense. Like it makes sense if you're a bunch of companies like we've seen that are all trying to do live service games, but when they're all coming from the same place, like you're cannibalizing your own consumers almost. Like the pie is not that big for live service.
The
Like
the only way it makes sense is if you try and do it in vastly different genres. But can
yeah,
you name a live service game that like isn't a shooter of some kind? Like it's pretty tough to think of it. Like these are all reaching for the same genres. They're all
yeah,
usually competitive shooting action games. And it's like at some point you're just you're gonna run into a dead end. And it's I mean, not only are you competing for time of other multiplayer games and other newly released single player games, you're competing for time of old games. Like so many people, like we'll talk about this later when we talk about games we've been playing, but like so many people go back and like rather than buying new games, they just replay one of their old favorites if they're in the mood for it. Like, and this is not all to mention that like any other hobbies outside of this or having a job or having life, like, dude, we don't got time. It's you everybody gets one. Like that's the rule. Everybody, I think, as far as I know, like every person I know typically gets addicted to like one or two big multiplayer games, and
and
that's
like
it.
those are their
Those are yours,
live
and it's like,
service
and
games.
you are
Yeah,
very unlikely to switch off of those. Like it's
yeah, because you're talking about like people have put X amount of money into skins and stuff, battle pass, like yeah, I mean, it's hard to tear someone away from that and try to get them on a new game unless you come out swinging like something like Marvel Rivals. Like I can't remember the last time a live service game has come out like that. But
like
then around the same time, if I'm not mistaken, dude, did Concord come out like almost on top of Marvel Rivals, or
uh
was there like
I think, oh man, if I remember correctly, I think Marvel Rivals came out
because that
officially
one's like a stealth drop if I remember
Marvel
correctly.
Rivals is like December of last year,
Okay,
right? I think
versus
that was the official
Concord,
release.
I
I think
believe was like
Concord was like September before,
okay,
like just two
gotcha.
months maybe before, 2 3 months.
And
So the thing is it didn't overshadow it because Concord was basically canceled
gone
only one
before
week after releasing. So it didn't Concord
crazy.
didn't step on anybody's toes. No game was
Crazy,
coming
dude.
out.
To hear about how much money they dumped into Concord, and then the fact that it wasn't free to play. It's like, guys, you're missing the forest through the trees. Like your live service game has to be free to play in 2025. It has to be. I mean, for all the
Oh
reasons we
man,
already listed, like there's
You,
no
they,
way.
you, and they're gonna compete. They're gonna repeat that mistake with Marathon now. Bungie's Marathon that they even
Marathon,
now
yeah.
they're like, yeah, it's not gonna be free to play. We're gonna price it. Then you get the whole controversy about plagiarizing art, and
Yep,
like,
set it
and
back a
it's,
whole other.
oh
Yeah,
man, and then Naughty Dog was working on the live service Last of
dude.
Us game, the
Let me
multiplayer
tell you.
game.
So that one in particular, right? I don't know if you played The Last of Us multiplayer like back
I
in the day.
I did.
Dude,
I fucking did.
wasn't it good as shit?
It was great and it was
So,
unique too.
yes, dude. So it's like, but like, it doesn't even be live service. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Just put that multiplayer game mode in the 12 versions of Last of Us or Last of Us 2 remastered that you made.
They brought on people from Bungie to as far as how the story goes, if I remember correctly, they brought on people from Bungie to basically assess the Last of Us multiplayer, and the people from Bungie were like, "Hey, this isn't gonna work because." I think they were like, if you want it to be a live service, you have to dump way more effort into this. So then they just outright canceled it. Like, okay,
And
we
it's
don't
like,
have the
dude,
resources to support
it
it, and
should just be
everyone's
a
like,
mode.
dude, just
It should just be a mode.
I was thinking about this. Oh man, just we're gonna take a step back, a little nostalgia trip. Do you remember the era? What a great era this was, when every game, no matter what game it was, had a multiplayer component
Yeah, I
to
was
it,
just thinking about that.
and
Some of the weirdest
from
games would get
they
multiplayer, dude.
ranged from mediocre and dog to like downright amazing.
Like
And
surprising gems.
I loved almost every. There was never a game where I was like, I did not play the multiplayer and enjoy it to some capacity. Like I'm thinking, because bringing it back to Naughty Dog, Uncharted's
I was just thinking
multiplayer,
about it. So
Uncharted 2 and 3
yeah,
with like
yeah.
full parkour, jumping around, swinging around.
Like, you punch each other at the same time and you both.
Dude, yes, you both just like blop over. Dude,
That's
Uncharted's multiplayer was top tier.
Underrated. I
And I
believe Uncharted 4 had that too, which was good.
Yeah,
That might
but
have
then
been
they
the
got
last.
rid of it for the
Lost
Legacy
Legacy.
collection
Yep,
on
yep.
PS5,
Yeah.
where you get the higher frame rates and higher resolution, but multiplayer gone. They did it with The
Sucks,
Last
dude.
of Us as
People
well.
don't
That
even know
like
what they're missing, dude.
and you know what? To Naughty Dog's credit, to try and give them any credit with The Last of Us 2 remastered, which is ridiculous that they remastered it. They did release like a roguelike mode for that game that I
I
think
heard about that. Never played it, but
I haven't played it yet either. I own it. I'll probably get to it at some point. But like, I think that is very fitting for The Last of Us. Like, I think that works, right? So I appreciate them trying to experiment more with gameplay variety. I'm getting off topic. Anyways,
no.
dude, like, what was like? Do you have like a fond, like almost niche multiplayer game of this era that you remember?
The ones that I mean, yeah, just I put a ton, like more than I probably should have, into Last of Us and Uncharted both. I'm trying to think. Like I remember, like Doom had like a multiplayer,
Yes, Doom
which I guess
2016
is
did
not
have
that
one.
like out of there, right? Like out of
Yeah.
left
No,
field,
nope.
but
Oh man, I'm thinking back to BioShock 2's multiplayer. Never
oh,
forget.
weird
BioShock
stuff.
2's multiplayer was whack. I'm thinking to a
Infinite didn't
classic.
have a
Honestly, this needs to
multiplayer?
come back. Assassin's Creed's multiplayer,
Oh,
classic.
yeah, dude.
AC Brotherhood. Dude, I think I put 100 hours into AC Brotherhood multiplayer. I
That
loved
multiplayer
it.
was very, very unique. I mean,
Yes,
perfect
so
translation from the like single player mechanics into a multiplayer fashion. Yeah, the Assassin's Creed multiplayers were. I probably only played like two of them, maybe. Um,
Mm,
yeah, Brotherhood. Yeah, I think I definitely played the Brotherhood one. Right?
yeah, and like, look, like not all of these worked, right? A lot of these were janky and like horribly unbalanced.
Yeah.
They basically wouldn't even like hold up to today's standards. But it's like, dude, sometimes you don't need the whole life service. You don't need the battle pass.
That's
Just create a fun little multiplayer mode to hang out with your buddies in. And I guess maybe it's just not. I think now the expectation is if you're not getting so much money out of it, then it's just I don't think they even bother investing their time into it because it's like
yeah,
unless they see big profits because of just how game development is now and how long it takes to make everything.
yeah.
Yeah, they can't even afford it, and it's like that is just shame.
And it's so like, before we I guess move on or whatever. The other example I had was there was a live service God of War game that I guess got canceled recently. And like that to me is like the biggest example of like you guys don't know what the hell you're doing. I mean, like what are you even talking about? Live service God of
Dude.
War game? Like what is that even?
Dude, bringing it back, you just reminded me. God of War Ascension's multiplayer. It was like I think
Ooh.
8-player free for all, like just combat. I think I remember like the online functionality actually worked like almost surprisingly well. I
Okay.
played that and it was goofy and I don't think it was very well balanced. I don't even know how many people enjoyed it. But the fact that they just even bothered to throw it, because that was the expectation at the time. Every game, no matter what it was about, would have a multiplayer to it. And it was just like, man,
It's
I
a
miss
weird
that
era.
era.
Yeah, yeah. I guess so we covered I guess the Sony part of it, the Xbox part of it, and I guess this transitions great into kind of we brought up a little bit about Nintendo, but Nintendo right now, they kind of have the best vision, I guess, for the future of games, in my opinion. Um, just the fact that they're like doubling down on making great games, right? Now they got the hardware to support it. I mean, the future is looking bright for Nintendo. This thing is totally blowing my mind, and it's
This
changing
thing
the
is
way I play games.
huge. I was not expecting how big. I never had any of the Switch
Oh, okay,
OLEDs or
like
any of the
actually
upgrades.
huge. Yeah,
I
yeah.
never. I was not expecting how fucking big the Switch 2. This thing is like unwieldy. It is
Compared to the one,
large,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dude. I hold it to my face and I'm like, wow, this is like they can't go larger than this because this is almost too much. Like I
I
almost,
gotcha. Yeah,
it's crazy. No one. I feel like properly painted how much bigger the Switch 2 would be compared to the Switch 1. Oh
It-
man.
so like I know that you. It sounds like you do a lot of your gaming at the desk, right? Is that am I correct in saying that?
Most of my gaming, actually, I
Yeah.
do. I'll just do on my couch, just like
Not
just
now you gotcha. Lately, dude, I've been transitioning a lot more to the couch too. And then also the fact that the controllers pop off, right?
that's the
I'm
most
laying in
satisfying.
bed, dude. And the fact that the fucking kickstand actually
This
works.
kickstand is great.
So, dude, I'm like, I got this on my chest. I'm
Yeah,
laying and I got my arms straight out and I'm playing. It's like totally changed the way I interact with games, and it's so interesting. Because it's not like the Switch 2. I mean, Switch 2 had a kickstand. They had removable controllers, right? But the fact that the screen is like so beautiful, and I don't know, it, compared to the Steam Deck, right? I really thought the Steam Deck was going to change everything for me, but it's the Switch 2, and I found that kind of interesting.
I never had the
Yeah,
Steam Deck. I always debated on getting one, but then honestly, now it's like this more or less fills the niche. I still might get a Steam Deck because it is nice to just have a like. There are some nice games that are like on PC that are portable, but like also like another thing the Switch 2 has, dude, it has that built-in mouse, and it's like
yeah.
already it's like that mouse like feels pretty great to use. Like it is.
Mario Paint just dropped today, dude.
Oh yeah, for your
Mouse
fate.
support.
Oh, oh,
It's to me, it really does seem like Nintendo. You know, they're not perfect by any means. They always have this like weird like okay, that's a weird Nintendo decision, right? But for the most part, I really do think like they got it on lock, and I can see the vision. And to me, it's like, and we kind of brought this up last episode, but if a game's coming out, whether it's a Nintendo game or it's an indie game or maybe it's a third party like Xbox ported over, I think that I might be getting more games on the Switch than I like. If an indie game comes out and it's on the Steam Deck or it's the Switch 2, I think I'm gonna lean towards the Switch 2 just because the way I'm playing games now, playing them in bed, you pop it on the dock, now it's on your TV. Like it's actually kind of crazy, the kind of switch up that I've experienced lately. So
the original Switch was always my go-to for indie games for the longest time.
me too for a
Especially way
while.
before the
Yep.
Steam Deck, because like a lot of indie games run perfectly fine on it. Like they look good, they run well enough, like no issues. So like yeah, having them portable is awesome. Like I can't even tell you how many games I think I've played just completely portably on the Switch. Because it's like, dude, just playing like any like 2D action games, like stuff like that, like Metroidvanias, dude, they work so well with the Switch. It's like match made in heaven. I played I all of Balatro done on the Switch too, like on the Switch, right? Like most of Hades done on the Switch. It's yeah, like absolutely, like that is for me. Like no, the Switch is the way to go, and it's like yeah, with the Switch too, it's just stronger, even better. It's like this, yeah, and Nintendo's strategy of like no, we're just gonna keep making games in our franchises, and we're just gonna keep releasing them, and not every single one of them is gonna be a winner. Like they're sports titles, like the Mario sports titles are a particular sore spot for the Switch one, but I mean, like franchises are being represented, they're being given love. Like it's kind of never been a better time as a Nintendo fan, just when it comes to just console output and game output.
Yeah, dude, I definitely agree. You brought up the sports games. That's definitely probably their weakest spot right now. They kind of need to. I don't know what's going on with this. Everyone's been kind of disappointed, but other than that, though, dude, Switch is on lock right now. It's definitely my go-to system. I'm just loving it. Does that kind of cover it? So we brought, yeah, Xbox, Sony, Nintendo. Yeah, might be time for the top five list, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. This top five list is gonna be very. All right. So first off, before I even get into it, I got to preface. I got to preface and say this is not the five best games ever made. Not these are
Oh no, no,
my
no, no.
these are my top five. I have a very specific selection. All of these are basically from my childhood, right? And it's not just nostalgia, even though it definitely seems like it. I've played and replayed all of these. Like I still go back to them like year after year, right? Like I know that I acknowledge the flaws with these games. I acknowledge their issues, but I still love them. To me, they're just like they just hit in a certain way that the other titles in these franchises don't. And again, it's all subjective too. Like these are just games that they just specifically work for me, right? Like
I love that.
to me when it comes to like what I think is like the objective best game of all time, I always give the same answer. I think it's Portal 2. I think Portal 2 is like objectively just the best game ever made. I think it hits every note it has to. I think it's a game that can be enjoyed by everyone. I don't think there's a single hair out of place with Portal 2. Like that game to me is perfect. I wouldn't say any of these games on my list are perfect, but I love them. I love
Yeah,
all of them.
I think my initial prompt to you when we came up with this was like, as a get to know you kind of segment for me and the audience. What are like the most Lorenzo games, right? So you took it however you wanted to take it, dude. So I'm very excited to hear
Yeah,
what you got.
that definitely fits the division. And again, these are all I grew up with Nintendo console. I didn't get any non-Nintendo console until I was like 13, like 12, 13. So
Gotcha.
all of
Yeah.
these are Nintendo games because they just like they shaped my tastes in games. And to this day, I still love them. I still revisit them. I basically own all of them like physically except for one. One of them is, but the one that I don't own is like the most widely available digitally. Regardless, we'll get into it. Number 5 on my list is first controversial pick, Super Mario Sunshine. Many people's
Wow.
not favorite Mario game because Super Mario Sunshine is whack. It is weird. It was the direct follow up to Super Mario 64. It came out like a year after Luigi's Mansion, so the timing of the
Right.
release was weird because people were expecting a full Mario game on release and they got Luigi's Mansion instead. And then when they got Mario Sunshine, it's like Mario Sunshine's physics, it feels like Mario is running on butter at all times. The game's difficulty curve is like fucking Mount Everest. Some levels are nice and breezy, and some make you want to tear your hair out. Everyone knows about the Pianta Chuckster, but nobody knows how the angle he throws you at because the game doesn't like the Mario Sunshine doesn't explain so much, and it's like it is very weird to control for a lot of people. But man, I love the vibe. It's basically Mario goes on vacation. I love the different levels. I love the physics. I love the way it feels. To me, this is still I think my favorite Mario game, which is how it feels like almost like it's like almost like breaking at the seams, but it isn't. It holds together. I love the music. I love the
Music.
colors. I think it's still a gorgeous game. Dude, I love it. I revisit Mario Sunshine at least once every 2 years, and like every time I revisit it, I just have a blast. Like it's to the point where one time my brother like visited me. Like we were just hanging out in the evening. Like my wife was away, and so we're like, dude, let's just hang out. So he came over at like 5 p.m. and I'm like, this is right after like 3D All Stars came out. I was like,
Mm.
oh, dude, like I have like I have Mario's on Sunshine and 3D All Stars. Like, and he loves Mario Sunshine too. So he just sits down and he starts playing it. Dude, I just watch him play the game to completion. It's like 11 p.m. and like we just literally just sat there together. I just watched him marathon that game because that's how much I love it. I will watch someone play it to completion and I just enjoy myself. Like I love Sunshine. I always have. I always will. I know why people don't like it. It is whack, and it is like it is crazy difficult at times. Like those challenge levels when Shadow Mario takes your flood pack.
Mm.
Oof, those can be real tests of patience. But I love it. It's just it has such a unique vibe, and yeah, I will
Definitely,
always love it.
in my opinion, dude, definitely gets way too much hate. But I guess when you're comparing it to other Mario 3D Mario's, right? You're talking about some of the best games of all time,
Some
right? So,
some of the best games of all time that are well made. Like Mario Sunshine
right,
definitely feels the most rushed, but like it's just got this scrappiness that I just can't help but respect.
scrappy's a good word for it, dude. I think that's an excellent first pick.
Now my number four pick. Moving on to number four. This is tough because this is I basically put three games in one, but I'll stick to mainly just one. My number four pick, of course, dude. I'm the Mario Party guy. I gotta do Mario Party, and I was like, oh god, but which one? I was like, I gotta stick to my heart and soul. I know this isn't the best one, and it's I wouldn't even. I don't know if I didn't say if it's the one I would prefer to play on any given day, but it's the one that's just I grew up with, and like I still think about to this day. Is Mario Party 5 on
Okay,
the
five,
GameCube.
gotcha.
4, man, I love a lot of things about 4, and I think 4 has some of the
What
best mini
system
games in
was
the whole
five on,
series.
buddy?
4, 5, 6, and 7, all on the GameCube.
Gotcha.
So yeah, 5 was their second attempt at the GameCube. On 4, 4 definitely a lot of early GameCube titles. Like you can just tell were rushed. Like there's a lot of like cut stuff, like issues and things like that. 4, you can definitely tell, like, yeah, it just feels rushed. And like the board design in 4 is just, it's awful. But 5 is like, okay, we're gonna focus up a little bit. We're gonna make more unique boards, and we're gonna throw in like the capsule system. I think in this game it's called the orbs, or maybe and I think in 5 they're called capsules, and in 6 and 7 they're called orbs. It's basically just the item system where you just get a
Gotcha.
bunch of different items to use, like regular like movement items, things like that. But then you also have items that will like take away players' coins, that'll steal their items. It'll like you set traps all across the board. Like 5 is utter chaos, and I love it. Like it is absolute crazy when every player is like throwing items on the board. So like every time you're taking a step and you're landing and something's gonna
I
happen.
gotcha. Yep,
It's
yep.
crazy. 5 has the miracle capsule, which is just one of the craziest items ever conceived of in a fucking competitive game. 5 is so unfair. Like it is unfair and it's dumb in a lot of ways, but I love it. I love it. It's just it speaks to me, and it's like I love I will play any Mario Party and just enjoy it. But like 5 is the one I grew up with. It's got that dog in it. But I will give honorable mentions to 3 and 6, which I think are the two
Okay.
objective best games. I think 3 is absolute top tier for the N64 titles, and 6 is just the best Mario. It gets everything right. The boards are perfect. The items are all great and unique. There's really not that many bad mini games at all. Like 6 is the objective best, where everyone should start with.
That's what I hear
5,
about. They say
if you want
six is
something a
like
little if you want something a little goofier and a little wackier and a little less put together, just like Mario Sunshine, a little scrappier, then 5 is the way to go for me.
I think what we're finding out today, guys, is that Lorenzo is very scrappy.
I'm a glutton for punishment too, but like unfair punishment. I don't want punishment that's my fault. I just want things to happen, and that's just how it turns out, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's just how the game is played, dude. That's the Mario Party, man.
Oh, it's the perfect balance of like chaos and skill. 5 leans a little more into the chaos, but I love it for that.
You know, with Mario Party, it's kind of interesting. I feel like I have more touchstones to it on like the DS, oddly, like the
Yeah,
handheld stuff.
Mario Party DS was crazy good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I never had it, before,
Mhm.
maybe like before the Wii. So that was kind of how I experienced the
Yeah.
series, was over on the handheld stuff.
So moving on to my number 3, the safest pick. Probably
Okay,
also I with my picks, you'll see that I stuck to one per franchise because all of these are parts
right.
of franchises. The safest pick, I think the most obvious pick of this franchise, but it's the one I will never forget. I still think it just hits all the notes right. I still think to this day really just hasn't aged all that much in a lot of ways, is Ocarina of Time.
Okay,
Ocarina of
nice, nice.
Time, it is just like the perfect standard adventure. I think the puzzles are all solid. I think the music by Koji Kondo is unbeatable. Probably still, I think, his best soundtrack in my opinion. Um, yeah, Ocarina of Time. It's like what can I say that everyone on the internet hasn't already said, right? Like it's you've beaten it to death. It's the Zelda game I've replayed the most. It's the one I still think about. It's probably the game that I have single-handedly just replayed the most. Like
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
could go to bed, close my eyes, and just walk through everything in Ocarina like from memory. Like at this point, I can't even look at it objectively because the game is so ingrained in everything I think about when it comes to games and like why I like them. It's like, yeah, dude, it's just to me,
Dang.
it's not like a perfect game, right? I wouldn't say any of these are,
Hmm.
but to me, I there's not a single thing I don't love about it.
The thing with Ocarina is a lot of the times there's like that thing with Zelda fans, either an Ocarina guy or you're a Majora's Mask guy, right? As a guy who's only really dabbled in the I feel like over the years I played like the wrong Legends of Zelda, all right? Like I played like Spirit Tracks and I'm like, this is kind of
Ah,
it's not
Spirit Tracks is awesome though,
I don't know if it
dude.
should have been my first
One
Zelda
of
game
maybe
probably.
not, but oh, what
Um
an excellent soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack for sure sticks out in my mind. But I guess what I was asking is, like how does it compare to your feelings on Majora's Mask? Like, do you hold them both into pretty high regards? Because I know some people have like a pretty major preference
I
one over the
definitely
other.
hold them both. I didn't play Majora's Mask until way later, and there's a lot
Gotcha.
of things I love about Majora's Mask, and I
So it's
do.
yeah,
It's far and away like the most unique Zelda game, even to this day. It's so crazy, original, and wild. But the thing with Majora's Mask is Majora's Mask doesn't care about the legend, right? The legend of Zelda. This is actually kind of a topic I'll be going into in my next video.
ooh,
Um, the
a
Ocarina of
sneak
Time is
peek.
all about that legend, that hero's journey of saving the princess, defeating the grand evil, and recovering the Triforce. Majora's Mask is like the most grand side quest, right? Like it is in any other, almost like imagine like a Witcher 3 type game. Majora's Mask would be like if you took a side quest in The Witcher 3 and just expanded it and just made it like crazy huge. But it's still like, it still feels like a side quest. Like it still feels like just almost just different in that it doesn't feel like the sense of like adventure and heroism and that journey isn't
Hmm.
there. But that's because that's not what Majora's Mask is trying to be. It's not about being the hero to save the land. It's about entering this strange world, this strange, almost alien world, and just like uncovering its secrets. You know, like it's very much like the original Zelda 1 in that regard. That Majora's Mask is much more open and free for you to find like different discoveries and stuff. Where Ocarina
Right.
is much more like linear. Like no, this is like the journey that like the exciting roller coaster you're going on. Where Majora's Mask is almost like a haunted house. I guess if I had to compare
Hmm.
them. So completely different vibes. And it's just like some people are haunted house people, some people are roller coaster people. I'm definitely both. But for me, at least when it comes to what I think works for like Zelda,
Hmm.
Ocarina just beats it out. But Majora's is it's incredible. And it's like there's very few games that even reach the atmosphere of Majora's Mask to this day. Like it
Right.
is so unique and it's like, yeah.
This is great, dude. Mario Party, Super Mario Sunshine, Ocarina of Time, number four.
Oh
I guess I
no,
forgot if you
no, my
did
number
starting
two.
with number
Gotta
two. You
start with
start
number
with
five.
five.
So my number two game, just like with Sunshine and Mario Party 5, not the most popular of this entry for some people, but I think a lot of people still hold this as a soft spot. Dude, it gets all the notes for me. I got to give it to Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Like
Okay. Brawl.
Brawl,
Okay.
Brawl, I know. I know about the gameplay mechanics. I know about the tripping. I know that it's slow and I know that it's floaty. I get that. But single player content, the
Mm.
roster, the stages, Brawl was the complete package. Like it
My
had
first one.
everything.
That was my
Dude,
first
it
one.
not a
So
single thing out of place. And like I love Melee, right? I grew up with Melee. And it's like this is a GameCube game fans like list for the most part, right? All of these games I played on the game because Ocarina of Time, I had the Master Quest edition, which was on the GameCube. All of these I played on the GameCube. My favorite console of all time, no surprise. Um, but Brawl, like the first Wii title, like I love Melee, but Brawl is like it just had like Melee again, like other titles you'd find early on in the GameCube's lifespan, felt rushed. Like Melee was very rushed to the point where like one of the characters in the game was literally incomplete. Like he didn't work, and they still released it. Scrappy, love the GameCube.
scrappy,
The
scrappy,
GameCube is the
scrappy.
scrappy console, but Brawl was that was like the masterwork. That was the complete package. Not a single bad character, you know, like Solid Snake, Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog. Dude, you had to be there for that, man. The hype was so real. So real. I didn't know who Solid Snake was, right? I just saw a dude, right? I was like, oh, this is
So
just
different
human.
than the rest of the cast
This
and
is
the rest
just
of the
bearded
roster.
man, but I'm all right with it. Whatever. I didn't care. I was hypersonic because that was me. But yeah, Brawl, like it has like it's the best game to like 100% complete. It has all the trophies, challenges, Subspace Emissary. I still adore. I love the Subspace Emissary. Like, ah, there's not a single thing out of place with Brawl for me. It has the masterworks, like these playable demos of like old Nintendo titles.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
it's crazy
That's so
everything
much
that's in
shit,
Brawl.
dude.
It is
Yeah, yeah.
so, despite like future titles having kind of more mechanics and features and stuff, to me Brawl is like it got everything right. Everything right. And I just always. I'll always love it. I always will.
That was my first experience with a Super Smash Bros. Title, and it's kind of interesting because it's like, I don't know about you, I didn't have like older brothers to play Smash. Like my friends didn't come over, we weren't playing Brawl, right? So to your point, that was a single player game for me. You know what I mean? So just the amount of content in it, kind of mind blowing at the time. That might be my first like fighting game too. Still not good at Smash Bros like at all,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's definitely kind of my touchstone for
No,
it was Brawl. So yeah, I
I'm
think it's a great
super
pick
big
too.
on like single player content in every game, and like to
Yeah,
this day, Brawl is still the best single player Smash game. Like it is, like you have everything there, man, and it's just I'll always love it. Brawl is whack. I know. Meta Knight, he's broken. Like the Brawl itself is almost breaking at the seams, just like Melee in a lot of ways. But like I didn't care. You know, I was a kid, and even to this day, with my more objective, skewed brain, there's so much that Brawl gets right that Smash just still hasn't been able to fully recapture. So, and I don't think they'll be able to unless they start scaling down the scope. Like Ultimate was great for what it is, and I'm glad we got it. But I think next time, scale down the characters, cut the roster in half, cut the stages in half, keep it all new, all killer, no filler. Invest in that single player content, single player challenges. Like invest in trophies again. I love the
yeah.
trophies.
Trophies
You
were
know,
cool. Yeah,
rest in peace. I get
rest
why they'll be
in
missed,
peace.
but I would love to see it again because like I think Smash works best when it's like a full, almost like museum of Nintendo's history.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
don't think any of the Smash games exemplify that idea better of being like a celebration of Nintendo and being like a museum in gaming history than Brawl. To this day, I still think it does it the best.
Yeah, dude. Well said, man. Brawl's definitely one of those games, man. And it's interesting to think about the future of the Smash Bros. Franchise because I don't know if they can put the tube back in the put the toothpaste back in the tube. You know what I mean? Like I to me when you say like, oh, they're gonna possibly cut characters, cut the stage and stuff like that, I think fans might be pissed if something like
I
that were to
think that's the
happen. But
direction. I think that's the
yeah,
direction they have to go in. I don't know if they will, but you can only keep going up. And I think it's almost like you got to reboot it. Like you've reached your
yeah,
peak. Time for a reboot. Start fresh. And I think
because there's
people
no
will be
way they
upset.
can. That must be such a hard thing to lasso all the characters together, all the licenses, like all that
Dude, you
stuff.
can't
Like,
you can't keep doing it. Yeah, I mean those
yeah,
licenses too. Like those are yeah. You know.
yeah, yeah.
But
Great pick
anyways,
with Brawl. I think you had some runner ups too, right?
I had some honorable mentions. I
There we
gotta
go.
shout out some non-Nintendo games, right? And a lot of these almost made it. One in particular almost made it and cut out Mario Sunshine, but Mario Sunshine wins. But so we'll just rattle them off real quick. We'll say
Okay.
Persona 5, played it
Okay.
recently for the first time 2018. One of the best, like as far as I've played, one of the best JRPGs ever made. Don't listen to Persona 5 fans. They're going to tell you it's a bad game. It is not. It
Yeah,
is
they're
one of the
fans.
best RPGs ever made. Persona fans are just a little crazy. They're just passionate. And they're passionate fans. You can't help it, right? Persona 5 is incredible. Like it's so much style, substance, the characters, the gameplay, like the world, the story, especially. Like it is just, it all works. It's got that edge, yo. And it's the same thing with a lot of Atlas's other titles. And I'm going to shout out two of Atlas's side titles
Ooh,
as well.
okay.
First off, the Trauma Center games. Great.
Whoa.
Fun visual novel games. Super charming. Great music. Shoji Meguro. And a perfect composer. And Catherine. I don't know if anybody remembers Catherine, but I love Catherine. Catherine still, to this day, one of my favorite stories in a game. Catherine is so weird
It
and
is weird.
original and unique, and I love it. It's just got such a fun personality to it. With like, it's like a fun like hip hop, jazz, classical horror type deal. Crazy body horror shit in
There is
Catherine
nothing
too.
like Catherine. That is true.
Super difficult puzzler. Everybody, honestly, every puzzle, every fan of like puzzle games, especially, should play Catherine at one point because I think Catherine is so crazy. Now we're moving on to multiplayer. I had to give some shout out to multiplayer games, and
Mm-hmm.
the only two that have ever really captured my heart. I hate to say it, but I got to bring it up again. Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay.
Siege is toxic and crazy, and I don't even
That's
know how
this
to
guy's
recommend it
live
to
service
people.
pick. Sounds
Yeah,
like
that would
too.
be my live service pick. But Siege is so honestly, I just when you think about it, like to me from a game design standpoint, Siege is so original. Like
Yeah.
the idea of one team busting into a breakable building while the other team has to defend it, dude. What a
Yeah.
crazy novel concept that to me, like, kind of digs into some of that magic that Battlefield has lost over time. Like that simple magic of like, this is a building that we have to get into. Let's blow it up. It's like that's just simple, and it's like I know games like the finals have kind of like tried capturing that, but
Right.
yeah, I mean to me like Siege is just so goofy fun, right? And then like Overwatch as well. Like man,
Overwatch.
Overwatch,
Nice.
the hype for Overwatch, despite what people might tell you today, and I know, dude, I've been there for all of it. 2016 Overwatch, that game won
Nothing
Game of
like
the
it, dude.
Year, and it
Yeah. Yeah.
earned that win. That game
Yeah.
was huge. Everybody loved Overwatch, and you want to know why? Because Overwatch, at its core, ignoring all of Blizzard's mismanagement and dumb ideas and just confusing plans, Overwatch is an incredibly well-made shooter. Like the animations, the gunplay, the character designs, dude. To this
It gives me
day,
too nostalgic,
the
dude, for the
amount of
good
Rule
old days.
34 Overwatch, like you can't
It's
fight that.
unmatched.
Like it's impossible to Overwatch is like a phenomenon, and it earned it. Like Overwatch, I think to this day, I think still my favorite shooter to just play. Like it is so satisfying to play, and the physics in that game are so unique. Like the crazy things you can do with it. Like Overwatch earned its popularity, despite how it might have lost it. That
Yeah.
popularity at
It
its
was
core,
real.
it
That
is
there
such a
was nothing
great,
like it, dude. You
such a
said
well-made game.
2016
Like there
into
are very
17.
few, yeah, there are very few shooters that feel as good to play as Overwatch to me. Moving on to get to my other honorable mentions, Street Fighter 6. Dude, I
Oh,
was
that's
not a
new.
fighting game dude, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I've dabbled. I think everybody's dabbled. Marvel versus Capcom, Soul Calibur, love Soul Calibur, Soul Calibur 2, GameCube, scrap.
That came out last year, didn't it? Street Fighter 6.
2 years ago, came out
Okay.
2023, June of 2023. So yeah, Street Fighter 6, like, oh dude, you can't beat it. It is the fighting game for me that made me love fighting games. Like it is,
Love
and I think
that.
it's done that for me and my friends too. Like a lot of my friends who I recommended it to them, they weren't super into 2D fighting games. Like again, everyone has some experience, but nobody got into it. We all fell in love with Street Fighter 6. Like that game really hits, and it really puts in the effort that other fighting games just haven't done for whatever reason. Like Street Fighter 6 is the fighting game for fighting game fans and non-fighting game fans. Like it is the one that will convince you. If you've ever been interested, dude, I gotta advertise it just because
I love that.
six is amazing. Like I love
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
about it. Moving on to a quick double entry, we're gonna move on to Mega Man X and Mega Man X4. Super
Oh,
Nintendo and PlayStation 1. I didn't play X4 until way later, but like, oh man, like when it comes to like 2D action platformers that are just like
Mega Man X.
perfect to
I always
replay,
preferred the X games too.
X and X4 are like I think the peak of Mega Man, like the Mega Man series. Like they are just like the gameplay is just fast and simple and just
It's
perfect,
just
like
cooler
fun
too than Mega
challenges.
Man.
Perfect game design, perfect soundtracks for X and X4.
Mm.
X4 has some of the worst voice acting you'll ever hear in the cutscenes, and it's just the most charming. That was a staple of the PlayStation 1. Everybody who was there knows PlayStation 1, that's what you got. But two of the best 2D action platformers ever made. Then we're moving on. Quick shout out to Mr. Hideo Kojima, Metal Gear Solid 4 and 5.
Okay.
5, I think, like was the first game to really redefine the open world genre in a way that games like Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring would then take and run with. But 5 was the first to do it. I still remember 5's open world and their approach to game design still can't be beat. And Metal Gear Solid 4 is the complete opposite. It is a playable movie, but damn, for me, I have replayed Metal Gear Solid 4 at least a half dozen times. It is one of the most entertaining like narrative movie interactive whatever it is, and I still love it. I love everything about MGS4, and I gotta go back and replay it, man. I'm waiting for Master Collection Volume 2 with Metal Gear Solid 4 to break it out of the hell that it's trapped in, because every game for the PS3 is just forever just lost. It's like forever lost to time for whatever reason, because of that damn cell processor.
Yeah, dude. I actually got the PS3 bundle that came with Metal Gear Solid 4, and as a kid, I was so fucking confused. I was like,
yeah, dude, fourth.
I can't play it. I don't even know what the hell is going on.
I never played the other. 4 was my first Metal Gear Solid game, and every Metal Gear Solid fan will tell you that is quite literally the worst game to start with. I learned the story of Metal Gear Solid, the entire story, by just replaying 4 over and over again, and eventually I was able to just figure it out, which is
brute force.
Not how I think if Hideo Kojima heard that, he's gonna come and shoot me in the chest, but. Like 4 is just so unique and crazy, and it's just like it is a game that is just chock full of secrets and discoveries and really rewards like constant revisits. But my final honorable mention that I gotta get to, I gotta shout out my boy. Hard to pick one because I love so many, and so many of them are not great, but it's got to be Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Sonic Adventure 2 to me still, just like with some of my other titles, like I revisit frequently, and just I still have a blast with it. That game has a little bit of jank. Some parts haven't aged well. I think some parts have aged perfectly. One of the best soundtracks ever made, the Chow Garden. We're still waiting on Sega. Like, you gotta take the chows out of hell, just like every PS3 game. You gotta bring them back. We're waiting. We're waiting for the Chow Garden. Sega, where is the fucking Chow Garden? Sonic Adventure 2, like, just quintessential Sonic to me. Like, it's just like perfect soundtrack, great gameplay, a story that is actually like takes itself seriously, but in all the right ways. I love SA2. I always will. Like, to my core, SA2 will always be there. Cody, what do you think my number 1 game is before I get to it? Do you have any idea? I don't know if I've ever mentioned it to you or not.
I don't really know where to go with this because, so initially you were saying, hey, it's probably going to be all retro stuff from my childhood in my top 5. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know which console it might land on.
Oh, it's going to land on the GameCube. I'll give you
That's what I figured, right? Probably
every single one of these land on the GameCube.
There wasn't that many GameCube games. Let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe another RPG, I feel, because
I
feel like that's a genre that I know you love, and I feel like you haven't got a ton of, besides like Persona 5, there might not be a lot of. Lay it on me, dude. What's your number 1?
Great guess. And I will say, I'm going to shout out real quick, Tales of Symphonia. Great game for the GameCube, but it's not that. It is my baby, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, with
the
classic hologram box design. Prime 2. Dude, this isn't my original copy, but I brought this to first grade show and tell. That's how much this game meant to me, which is so crazy. I can't believe I did that. I can't imagine what my teacher was thinking at the time. But like that, also, I'm gonna say right now, every Metroid game is great, right? Super Metroid, Zero Mission, Prime 1 and 3, right? I know this is not a popular pick. The popular
what about
pick
that first person one on the 3DS, dude?
Federation Force, never played it. Can't comment. But I know that Prime 1 is the pick, right? When people talk about Metroid, the 2 they say are Super Metroid and Prime 1. Okay. And I acknowledge that. But man, Prime 2, it has this such a unique world. It has such a unique vibe to it. It in the way that Majora's Mask doesn't resonate with me as much as Ocarina of Time. Prime 2 really is like the Majora's Mask of Metroid. It is so unique and so different. It's the only Metroid game, arguably, where Samus isn't really tasked to defeat or destroy something. She's like, Metroid Prime 2 story is all about saving a dying race on an alien planet who have been at war with like this parasitic like invaders. And Samus shows up. She crash lands, just answering a distress signal. Like, it is not part of like any main mission. The title creatures, they're barely featured in Prime 2. I think there's like one scene where you see them in like a test tube early on in the first level, and then that's it. And then they don't show up for like the rest of the game. Like
Interesting.
they're
Yeah.
not like Prime 2 is so unique. It's all about saving this alien race. Unlike every other Metroid game, Samus is like depicted as like an actual like hero, and not so much as just like a badass bounty hunter, but like a selfless Han Solo type hero. Prime 2 introduces Dark Samus. It has some of the most unique environments. Every Metroid game, almost every Metroid game, is kind of guilty of being like, the average game. You have the forest level, and you have the water level, and you have the fire level, and all
Right.
that. Prime 2 is like, no, Prime 2's like primary 3 levels is like an abandoned dying desert, and then a swamp, right? Like a
Right.
swamp that then transitions to an underwater section, and then like a futuristic factory slash fortress that's located in the sky. Like Prime 2 is so unique with the ideas it explores. The style of it is so great. The different suits that Samus gets, the dark suit, I think is still one of the coolest designs of a suit ever. It's like this
Right.
almost steampunk dark poop colored industrial heavy like a metal type outfit. It's like it feels like honestly something that Jack Kirby would design with, except without any of Jack Kirby's like flash for colors, like his bright colors. Imagine a Jack Kirby style suit and then add in poop brown and silver and black onto it and dark red. Like it is so wacky. Probably the biggest shoulder pads of any
Yeah.
suit she's ever had. Prime 2, you have the whole dark world mechanic where like the entirety of almost every like area in the game has a dark world variant that you have to visit. And the dark world, the atmosphere is toxic, like it poisons you as you walk through it, so you have to carefully like walk between these like little light bubbles as forms of protection. And then enemies will like they'll like charge at you, and they'll turn off the bubbles. And like Prime 2 is so good also about instilling like panic in the player, like, oh, like you're not exploring this alien world and like trudging through it. Like you are the outsider. Like you are in a place that you have never been to before,
It's
and you're
fighting
like
back. The
you're
environment's
helpless.
fighting
You
back,
are
kind of. Yeah.
fighting back desperately. Prime 2 is regularly seen as one of the hardest games in the series, which is really funny because I never completed the game as a child, but I got through about like 80% of it. And like I played through this game when I was like 6 years old. So no offense to
Right.
everyone, but you got to get good. If a 6-year-old can do it, you can do it.
6-year-old Lorenzo's running
Maybe I
circles
was
around
just
everybody,
like,
dude.
maybe I was just acting. I don't know what I was on when I was playing it, but Prime 2 is just so unique. I love the different gunplay. You don't get like the traditional beams that like just permanently upgrade. You just get like basically like 3 different beam types. And you don't even have to use the other 2 beam types. You can use a normal, like enemies, they don't have that thing. Usually, some of them do, but most enemies don't have that thing where you have to switch to the correct beam type in order to kill it, like in Prime 1. It's like, no, you switch to it to almost take advantage of its weakness, but you can basically get through most of the game with just your regular power beam. And it's like, Prime 2 is just like it's the world is so interesting because like you're exploring this dying planet, and you see like this alien race. You see their bodies scattered throughout the planet, and you scan their bodies, and you find out what happened to them and what were their roles. And it's so dark and just almost like sad. And it's
Right.
like you just feel that as like, wow, you are trying to save this world. Like you're not just here to defeat the Metroids, defeat Mother Brain, kill Ridley, solve this mystery. It's like, no, like this world will die without you. Like
It's
you,
heavy.
it's heavy. It's like there's a moment in Prime 2. Prime I'll get back to this point in a second, but there's a moment in Prime 2 where you visit this like giant stadium, right? And Prime 2's environmental design is just perfect to me. And it's like this ancient stadium with these giant statues, and you see these dead bodies scattered throughout it. And you scan these bodies and you find out like, oh, these are the bodies of like children. Like this
Mm.
alien race was so desperate in losing this war, they had to rely on child soldiers because they were running out of people to fight this war. And it's like, dude, this is dark. Like
Yeah.
like this race is desperate to be saved. And it's like, wow, you gotta lock in, Samus. Like
Yeah.
this isn't just for you anymore. Like this is, and it's not just for the galaxy either. It's not, the galaxy is at peace. No, it's not really about the galaxy. It's just about this one planet, like this one alien race. It's
It's a
crazy.
cool
And
concept and
Prime
setup. Yeah.
2,
Yeah.
Prime 2 also, I think, addresses some issues that Prime 1 had. Like, I think the pacing is a lot better. Backtracking is handled a lot better in Prime 2. They give you access to a lot of shortcuts to really cut down on having to trudge through the same areas over and over again. And just like in Prime 1 and Prime 3, there is like an end game almost treasure hunt that you have to Nintendo love doing this. They got to pad out their games. They did it with Wind Waker, Scrappy, GameCube. They had to pad out the end of the game by making this treasure hunt where you would have to go back and basically through every area, every game to retrieve like these like 9 artifacts in order to unlock the final boss. But Prime 2 does it in a way that it's like, oh, this is not like a slog to get through because you're going back with abilities and you're exploring new areas that you couldn't enter before, and they give you these shortcuts. And if you're careful and if you scanned all the dead bodies properly, you can pull them up in your inventory and they'll tell you exactly where to go. And it's like, oh, so it even rewards players who are diligent in their exploration. That it's like, oh, if you're diligent in your exploration and like examining the world and learning about the world's history, you're rewarded later on with a much easier end game. And it's like a much simpler, straightforward end game. It's like Prime 2 is just so unique. It's so weird and so different, and it plays differently. It's harder. It's the first 3D Metroid game to introduce the screw attack, which is awesome. The suit design is crazy. Like the dark suit, like I said, is like Jack Kirby poop color, and then the light suit is just like this weird modern crazy like alien, almost like the symbiote. I don't know why I keep using Marvel examples, but like it's like if the symbiote was white and it's just like this pure, sleek, total future aesthetic. Like Prime 2 just has this style and tone and everything about it that is just so different from every other Metroid game that's like it is just does not deserve to be forgotten. And I hope if the rumors are true of the Prime remasters releasing,
Gotta be, right?
We've been hearing about it forever. And I mean, they were right about Prime 1, so we'll see about Prime 2 and 3.
I'd be a double pack on that
I
one,
think
yeah.
everybody who loves Prime 1 but hasn't checked out Prime 2 really are doing themselves a disservice, because Prime 2 is just like Prime 1 in a lot of ways, but I really do think that it's like it just is the more interesting game. Like I don't even know if I'd say it's the better game, but it's just the one that like I think about so much more. Like Prime 1 is exactly what it needed to be. It was 2D Metroid translated into 3D. But
Right.
Prime 2 is unique. There's not a single other Metroid game, 2D or otherwise, that is like Prime 2. It is so different, and it's I think when I guess Retro Studios was just feeling their most experimental, right? Like Prime 2 was just far and away the most, to me, it still feels like the most experimental of the franchise. And to me, so many ways in which it tries to experiment all works. Like Prime 2 is so weird and crazy. I love it. I'll always love it. It'll never change. No matter what game ever comes out, nothing will ever beat what Prime 2 means to me. Like it is just perfect.
I love that, dude. Sucks that it's kind of stranded there. I mean, it'd be cool if I could boot it up myself. This isn't on Nintendo Online or nothing, huh?
Maybe it might come to Nintendo Online. That's the hope with the GameCube Online service. Yeah, I mean this. If there are games to release on that, Prime 2 deserves it more than any game, because it is. Yeah, that's the thing too, is that it didn't sell as well as Prime 1, and Metroid is already not a super popular franchise, so it is probably one of the least played Metroid games, and it's. And I get why. Like it also came out, I think, really late in the GameCube's lifespan, and it was competing directly with Halo at the time, which you can't compete with Halo. I mean, Halo is Halo.
Like Halo 3,
yeah. Like Prime 2, I think, came out in the same year that Halo 2 did, and dude, I mean, come on, man, that is also man. Circling back, talking about games, Prime 2 has a multiplayer mode. It's really jank. I love it. I love the multiplayer mode of Prime 2. Four player, like couch co-op, deathmatch. So fun. But yeah, I'm hoping Nintendo gives it a new chance at life. Even just being on the GameCube Online service, like it's so unique and so different and so weird, and just to me, just so rewarding in a game that, in a way that games today still fail to do. Like games today, when you get the Annihilator beam in Prime 2. Dude, like you feel powerful when you unlock the light suit and you are completely invulnerable to the damage of the dark world. You feel powerful. Like you feel unstoppable, and you're like, I am fucking ready to take down the Ing and save this world. And it's like, God damn, yes, you are, man.
Dude, I love
Oh,
that. So listen, guys, those were the most Lorenzo games. All right, so we got Prime 2, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. We got Ocarina of Time, Super Mario Sunshine, Mario Party 5, ton of other shout outs as well. I'd love to hear what you guys, what kind of games you would associate with yourself, I guess. Like, it could be your top 5 favorite games or whatever. Maybe we can read them in the next episode. But before we get out of here, we like to tell y'all what we're playing. We can get through them pretty quickly. I'll start, and then we got a question for each other, and then we'll get you guys on out of here. Dude, like we mentioned, the Switch 2 is taking over everything, right?
mm-hmm.
Recently, you mentioned Balatro earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting back into Balatro, because for me, that was a Steam Deck game for the most part. So it's interesting to hear that you were playing on the Switch 1, dude. Love that. But yeah, as far as I got on the Steam or whatever, I wish there were cross progression. I guess that would be cool. But Balatro, ton of Balatro on this. Before Bonanza came out, I was playing a lot of Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, and I was playing that because sorry if you can hear Jerry barking. Can you hear me?
I just barely heard it.
He's outside too. That's how loud it is. But I was kind of disappointed with the fact that Mario Kart World, the single player, like wasn't really. It's not like a ton of content there. So I was looking for a single player game to play. Tried Link's Awakening because I was just waiting for Bonanza to come out. I've sort of put that on kind of the back burner for now because Bonanza, dude, so fucking good. I know you're playing it, right? You got to be.
I'm
It's like
not yet.
No,
I haven't got
okay,
it yet.
okay,
No,
okay.
I
So
will. I
dude,
will. I'm very slow with my games. It always takes me like at least a couple of weeks when new games come out before I ever get to
gotcha.
it. But yeah,
So
dude,
listen,
I mean, come on. I mean,
dude, it's okay. So in the next episode, guys, I'm sure we'll have maybe more to say on Bonanza. The only thing I'll say right now is it's doing things that it's sort of fixing some of the problems that I had with Mario Odyssey. And not that there's like a ton of problems, but Bonanza, there's just like more to do, right? It just feels more interactive. It's more satisfying to play. It's not so much focused on like the movement. It's like Nintendo just gave you like a bunch of tool, like destroy the whole world.
mm,
Just go for it. Go do it, right?
Hulk
So it's
Ultimate
like
Destruction.
so yeah. It's like it's banana. Sorry, I told myself I wasn't gonna do banana pun, dude. It's pretty bananas, all right. The fact that you can just destroy pretty much everything, and yeah, it's just it's my game right now. Bonanza is totally just all I can think about in terms of gaming, and yeah, I'm loving it a ton. Perfect on the Switch too. Playing it in bed, running around as Donkey Kong. I'm singing songs, dude, with this girl on my back. It's a little weird, right? But move past it, you know. And I'm probably about maybe like a third through Bonanza. And yeah, dude, just having a great time. So it really is just the Switch too that's kind of captured my attention recently. So that's what I've been playing. What have you been playing, dude?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll definitely be getting Bonanza. I mean, no
Yep.
surprise, it's the Odyssey team. Like I knew it'd be good.
Yep.
I'm glad people are loving it. It looks great. It looks like it totally deserves like all the flowers it's getting. But for me, man, I was going back and just finishing a lot that was on my backlog. Like I finished
Okay.
Sonic Heroes,
Yep.
got through that. I on a random like 3 or 4 day binge, I had a save file that I had started of the Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. That was
Minish
on the
Cap.
that was on the
Game Boy,
Game
right?
Boy
Yeah.
Advance Switch Online service. So then I went and I was like about a third of the way through that game, and I just finished that in just a couple of days, just on a whim. I don't even know why. I just did it randomly, right? And then yeah, I did that, and then I've now been progressing through Resident Evil 4. I'm almost
Right.
I said this before. I'm almost done with Metaphor, right? Like I'm finally getting
A
there.
long
And
one though. I
then
don't blame you. Yeah.
once I got the Switch 2, I was like, all right, playing Mario Kart World, yeah, this is fun. I'm like, but I'm a GameCube guy. I'm scrap at heart. So I was like, Wind Waker's right there. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't played Wind Waker in like 10 years. So over the course of 5 days, I just played and beat Wind Waker. I wasn't
I love
expecting to
that.
do it as fast as I
I
did.
love that. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man, like Wind Waker still got issues, right? Everyone knows about some of the pacing padding issues and like how horribly padded some of the late game stuff is. But dude, Wind Waker, it's just got this adventure and vibe, and it's just like this swashbucklingness. It's like, dude, I miss this from Zelda games, like this lighthearted, like yeah, like we're going on an adventure that's like,
Right.
oh yeah, Wind Waker, it's still so charming, so enjoyable. Like can mostly recommend it to people. I was playing through it today, like playing through it the other couple days, and I was like, man, there are some things about like early like Nintendo games I think some people would really find annoying. Like the fact that I know this doesn't bother me because I grew up with it, but inverted camera controls whenever you're
Yeah,
using items in Wind Waker, down is up is down. I'm okay with it. I grew up with it.
gotcha,
I got no problem with it. But I know for some people that might just drive them insane.
gotcha.
But
Yeah,
yeah, that was the last major thing I did. So now all I really have left in front of me is still just finishing off Resident Evil 4 remake and Metaphor, and then I have a copy of Xenoblade X just waiting, just sitting there waiting for me. And it's like once I get Metaphor out of the way and I get that, I can only handle 100-hour RPG at a time, right? But once
gotcha. Yep,
Metaphor is out of the way, then it's just Xenoblade portable every day, probably just like
crazy man.
grinding out like an hour before bed, like that will be my life for the next month.
I love it, dude. Yeah, the Switch 2 is perfect for that, man, dude. So yeah, loving that. Before we get out, before we get you guys out of here, we'd like to hear some questions. So leave them down in the comments. I think last time the only question we got, some guy was asking you about your thoughts on
Yeah.
Lego Party.
Yeah, shout out to at, let's see if I make sure I get the name right. Shout out to at F Jawsy, if it's pronounced correct. He was just asking me about like just reiterating about my opinion on Lego Party, of course, if it's gonna dethrone Mario Party. And to that I say I doubt it. It's Nintendo. It's almost impossible to like quote unquote dethrone Nintendo.
Right.
But like Mario Party, as it needs competition, right? Any competition is good. And we've had like little silly, like almost like physics based, like beat 'em up games like that, like Gang Beasts and stuff, Party
Right.
Animals, little silly party games that are I think trying to like kind of hone in on that audience of like silly games. Ultimate Chicken Horse 2, I know, is on the horizon. I don't even think that's what it's called. It's called like Ultimate Rooster. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
Weird
two,
name.
two
But like,
other animals. Yeah.
crazy, silly platforming party games, I always welcome. Like, we need more competition for Mario Party because it needs that competition. But I hope Lego Party turns out good. It looks like it's a fun vibe, and I definitely love the vibe of it. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, yeah. Nice, dude. I don't know. So I have a question for you, but maybe will that be our question for this episode? I don't know. What do you think?
I got a question for you too. We could
Okay.
just do a quick around.
Yeah.
I yapped. I was yapping supreme this episode. So you can ask me a question real quick. I'll fire it off real quick so we can
Okay,
get
okay.
to your.
Dude, Mario or Sonic? Because I know that you kind of live in both worlds, but you have to pick one now, Lorenzo. You can't like both.
I know.
Mario or Sonic?
It's Mario.
Okay.
I think anybody who's a fan of both franchises can tell you, yeah, Mario. It's just Sonic. It just hasn't been treated as well.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him. But Sonic Team, dude, they fumbled. They fumbled a lot. They've struggled a lot. Whether when it comes to horrible mismanagement that just killed the Sonic 06 and other entries. Like Sonic has such a bad history of mismanagement and like development troubles that gets in the way of these games reaching their full potential. Where like with Nintendo, those Mario games, dude, it is like an assembly line, like not one hair out of place to make sure those games are as perfect as they can be. Like they make sure that there's not like a single issue wrong. And in that regard, a lot of like Mario games sometimes can feel pretty sanitized, like not enough creativity and edge in some regards. Whereas Sonic definitely swings big. And you know what? Sometimes those swings they land, and it's great when they do. And I love Sonic. I love the bad ones. I love Shadow the Hedgehog. Right?
That's
It's a
why I
bad
was
game.
wondering, because I know that you have such a reverence for maybe some of the titles that people wouldn't recommend as readily as others in the Sonic
I
franchise
love
or
Shadow the
whatever. So
Hedgehog. I love Secret Rings.
okay,
I love Black Knight. But I will be the first to tell you that objectively, they're just not that great of games. Black Knight
gotcha.
actually is really solid in a lot of regards. It's also very short. You can beat it in less than 3 hours, and then that's it. It's
Notice you didn't
really
mention
short.
Sonic Unleashed.
Just
I'm just wondering if you
Sonic
wanna
Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed also really solid, and the
Okay,
Werehog stages last 20 minutes too long. That's Sonic Unleashed. Like again, like it's. I love a lot of things about it. I am there with you guys. I'm there in the trenches, the Sonic trenches. But the first step to healing is acceptance, and you got to accept the fact that whether you like Sonic games more or not isn't the question. But which franchise has been handled better? which one has sold better, which one has made more people happy, and which one has reviewed better from fans and critics, dude, it is Mario. It just is. You don't have to like that, but it's the truth. And there are some Sonic games that I love way more than Mario games, right? Like I said, you can like the Sonic games more, but you gotta like I said with my top five, you gotta know to draw the line between like objectivity and subjectivity. I think Portal
A
2
lot of
is the
people
best
get
game
lost
ever
in that.
made.
Yeah, right, right.
Portal 2 is the best game ever made. Metroid Prime 2 is my favorite game ever made. You just got to acknowledge it.
Same kind of thing applies with Sonic and Mario, guys. Well,
Yeah.
listen, memory card. I've never been a Sonic guy, so it sounds like we're a Mario family on this one, guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love them though. I love Sonic. I always will. But enough yapping from me, Cody.
Right
Question
on me,
for
buddy.
you. Actually, in a really similar vein to your question, Call of
Mm-hmm.
Duty, Battlefield, or Halo, what was your first person shooter? Because those were, I think, the three to
Those were the
compete with.
three, absolutely. So growing up, I didn't have an Xbox, so wasn't a Halo guy. The only time I got experience with Halo was at friends' houses and stuff
Yeah.
like that, maybe at daycare, stuff like that. So Halo out. My first one was Call of Duty. I'll never forget it. Literally COD 4 right into World at War, right into Modern Warfare 2. That was probably like the most time I put into a Call of Duty was like that era, the Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1. But which series do I have more like fondness for? I think it would still be Call of Duty, honestly, and that's probably just down to the hours played. I feel like there's more opportunities to play with your friends in Call of Duty. Like I feel like more people had the Call of Duty versus Battlefield. Maybe you only got like a buddy or two that has the new Battlefield, right? Um, yeah, I would probably go Call of Duty, not like quality, but just for like a series I have more reverence for. To our earlier discussion, I mean, Battlefield, like right after 4, they kind of got lost, right? They couldn't keep up that momentum. I mean, Bad Company 2 into 3 into 4, it's like, yo, this is getting somewhere, right? But then they kind of did the 1 and then they do the 5, so I don't know. Yeah, definitely to answer your question, I think for me it's got to be Call of Duty. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to answer it. I think I love them both so much, but
Right. Oh, so
for
not even
me,
Halo. So not even Halo out of those 3 for you.
it isn't Halo because yeah,
Yeah.
I've never like played Halo all that much. I
Yeah.
from what I have played, I do love it because I think Halo does speak to a lot of what I love about games. And I think if I were to play all three of them today, I actually think Halo would probably win it out. I
Yeah,
still
the
got to
kind of
do like
slower nature of it, I always enjoyed versus the like once you got to the point in Call of Duty where people are like, like I think maybe like Advanced Warfare, like kind of maybe a couple years before that, but once it got into like super, you got to like put hours and hours into the game, drop shotting, like perfecting your movement, stuff like that. I'm like, miss me with this stuff, man. That's not why I played Call of Duty. So that's kind of where I fell off of the Call of Duty franchise too, at least the multiplayer side of it.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. I think for me, as of now, yeah, that was a generational run, man. Call of
Yeah.
Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black
Like
Ops. Like,
zombies, right?
wow,
Like zombies all the way through.
you can't beat that winning streak, right? But like,
Yeah.
man, from a gameplay perspective, like back in the day with Bad Company 2 and 3, it was just so unique. Like no other game really was trying to do what Battlefield was doing with that more
Yeah.
tactical shooter at that time. Now, I kind of don't care for either franchise between COD and Battlefield. Despite the fact that I've never played Halo, yeah, I do think that if I were to play all the classic Halo trilogy, I would probably enjoy that the most. But I
Yeah, and
guess if I had to pick,
definitely from a single player perspective too, you probably have more to go back to with Halos and stuff like
yes,
that.
yeah,
So
with the co-op campaign and
yeah,
stuff. I mean, World at War had a co-op campaign. I don't know if anyone even remembers that. I think it was like either a split screen co-op campaign or I don't think it was a multiplayer one. I think it was a split screen one. But like,
those early Call of Duties had some weird kind of modes. Yeah, for sure. Like I know
yeah.
World
So
Modern Warfare 2 had some weird modes too. But yeah,
I would say it comes down to an individual basis. I think of all those games, I think Black Ops 1 for me was like just the best of the best. But I really loved Battlefield, Bad Company 2 and 3, like Battlefield 3. Like those two games were just so addicting and just so
I mean,
great.
you talked Rush earlier. I mean, just like I close my eyes and I think about Metro.
Yes,
Metro.
Metro, one of the best
Talk
maps,
about it,
one of
right?
the best multiplayer maps ever made. Pure hectic, pure chaos, like everybody rushing and throwing
And
grenades.
you don't get that. Like Call of Duty can be hectic in its own right, but something about the Battlefield, like you're saying, like Battlefield at its peak, definitely more fond of than Call of Duty at its peak. But I think I had more positive memories and stuff like that associated with Call of Duty.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I think Battlefield at its very peak is like unbeatable, but it just hasn't been able to hit that high as consistently
Yeah.
as Call of Duty has been able to.
Well, listen, guys. I think that's memory card episode number 2. Make sure you leave us some comments and questions down in the comments, and we'll get to them in episode number 3. This has been a good time, dude. Thanks for joining me, Lorenzo. Make sure
Dude,
you guys
thank
check
you.
out Lorenzo Talks. What kind of projects you got coming up, dude? I mentioned the Superman video. You did a nice one on Xbox as well, but what do you got coming up in the future?
Probably a movie review in the future. There's
Okay.
quite a few interesting, like little horror thriller movies coming out soon. So could be maybe talking about weapons
That
or
dude, that trailer looks insane. They played that before
crazy. Love it.
Fantastic
I love
Four.
the vibe. Weapons are
The
together
yeah.
with starring James Franco and I think Alison Brie,
Yep,
maybe.
yep.
And then I just finished the script today for it. It's 4,000 words. Gotta edit it tonight. um, it's a rant. It's a bit of a rant, Cody.
Okay.
It'll probably be
Keeping it
about
under wraps or okay, okay.
it'll be about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
I'm tackling something that I don't know if I'm sure people have talked about this before, but I just literally I had like a moment I think like a couple nights ago where I just couldn't sleep and I was just thinking about this. I was like, I gotta talk about this because it's just something that's bugged me ever since I played both of those games, but especially with Tears of the Kingdom. But it's like, yeah, big topic on those two, especially Tears. But yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be a long one. I hope I can get it out. We'll see when it comes out. We'll see.
Nice, dude. Well, yeah, listen, catch up with Lorenzo Talks. You'll find him on the screen. You'll also find him down in the description. Got a lot of cool stuff coming. As far as, yeah, I don't know what we'll talk about next time. Memory card episode number 3. Always video game
I
stuff
know.
happening.
I
But yeah,
know. I think it's rumored, heavy rumor. We might hear about it tomorrow. You know, to
okay.
date this video, that a Nintendo Direct might be set for this Thursday.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
So yeah,
we'll
dude.
probably have a lot to talk about then.
Exciting times, guys. Thanks for listening. Also, down in the description, you can find the audio links if you'd prefer to listen to this podcast on the audio channels. But yeah, I think that's been it. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I've been Cody Klex. That's Lorenzo. Lorenzo, any final words, buddy? I'll let you close this out.
Read more comics, play more games.
Nice.